What if the next third-person shooter gamers love is the one that you and I will build in this series? I'm starting a third-person shooter project in Unreal Engine using C++ from a blank slate. This is not a polished behind the scene. It is the real process. You will see me set things up, make choices, make and fix mistakes, and share every step so you can use it in your own game. This is an open project. You will have access to the code and the development. I will implement and you will help me tune. Tell me what to adjust and what features to try next. Your feedback will shape the game. Along the way, we'll also explore some of the newest tools in Unreal. I'll show you how to support yourself in learning the principles of programming and, as the time progresses, how to use AI tools like ChatGPT to boost your workflow. Keep in mind, though, that AI can help make your work faster and more efficient. But if you don't understand what you are doing, AI won't save you. We'll balance learning the foundations and using AI as a real creative assistant. And to support this entirely free initiative, I have a simple request. Hit like, subscribe, ring the bell. Share this with a friend who needs a push to start, and make a comment letting me know how thrilled you are about this. To help you even further, visit woolen.com to watch my free webinar, How to Become a Game Changer Video Game Creator After Your Daily Job. While you are there, check out the Game Creator Accelerator. It is my lifetime mentorship that gives you the skills, methodology, and support to move into the industry with confidence. I help you build this path after your daily job and responsibilities. I know how, because I was also there. Okay, it is time. Let's do this thing. I will create this project using Unreal 5.6.1, which is the most recent we have at this moment. Select Games, blank, because I want to start this project from zero, and then C++. And the name for this project will be Shooter Oasis. Why Shooter Oasis? Well, because I love the movie Ready Player One, and it's a big inspiration for me to create any video game that I want to create. If you haven't seen the movie, I recommend you to watch it, but even more, I recommend you to read the book. They're different, but they are both amazing and super inspiring if you are a video game developer. Now let's create. Because I want to have a version control of my project, first open Google and look for GitHub. If you don't have an account created in GitHub, create one, because this is something that you will need a lot. Once you finish, click on New to create a new repository. Let's call this one Shooter Oasis. The description, you don't have to fill it, and the rest you're going to leave it just as it is. Add README off, add gitignore, no gitignore, and add license, no license. Create repository. Now click on HTTPS and copy this address. We will use it in Unreal. Go back to our project, click on Revision Control on the bottom right. Select Connect to Revision Control. In the provider, you have a list. As you can imagine, because we're using Git, you select Git beta version. And in the section where it says URL to remote server, copy the remote server that we just created on the GitHub webpage. The rest, leave it as it is. Now click on Initialize Project with Git. Once it's finished, accept settings. And now you have a connection successful to control the version, to version control. And in fact, you have a check here that is green, which means that everything is good. Probably when you opened or when you created that project, it also generated the Visual Studio project. And as you can see on this section where it says Git changes, you are not really connected to the repository. To solve this, close the Visual Studio and let's reopen it again. The way is to go to our project, right-click, Show in Explorer, go up one, and this .sln, is the project in Visual Studio. Open it. And voila, here you have it, the Git changes, and you have the current changes at this moment, which are related to the configuration of Unreal. Let's do our first commit, saying something like generating Unreal Engine 5 project, and commit all. Now we don't have any changes to do. Let's go back to the folder where it is our project. And in that folder, you will find one important file, which is called the gitignore. Gitignore keeps track of all the files and folders that we are not going to keep using the version control. That is usually because these files are, or these folders are really big and we don't want to control them. And at the same time, it's because many of them can be generated or auto-generated when you create the project. We are going to leave this list just as it is. But now we also need to add a new file, which is called the gitattributes. And this is used to keep control of those files that are really big, huge. And you only want to keep the reference to the files, but you will keep that content associated with these files in a place where you can recover it afterwards. And in case that something goes wrong, then you can copy this content and then just download the most current version of your version control. That's why it is always good, even though you use version control connected to internet, that you always keep a copy of your folders. To create the file of Git attributes, select the folder where your project is, in this case, Shooter Oasis, right-click, show more options, and pick Git Bash here. To create the Git Bash attributes, type touch.git attributes and enter. Now you will see that in your folder you have the Git attributes. Open it. The list of attributes that you want to fill in the Git attributes, you can find it in another GitHub, which is called mosg with 3 eyes. This guy, thanks God, provides us with this gitignore, UI5 gitignore. Click on it and look for the Git attributes. Here are all the attributes you want to copy to your Git attributes. Click here to copy row, go back to your Git's attributes, paste them, and save those changes. And you can also close the Git Bash. Now, if you go to your project, you also have the Git attributes. So we can amend or add these other changes. We added Git attributes and commit. If you check all your commits, you have the initial commit, the generating UI5 projects, and the most recent, which is the Git attributes. If you want to go to one of these versions, you just only have to click on that version and you can go back. So if you screw something, and that happens a lot, you can go back to your previous version of your code and then start working from that point on. Back in our project, we're going to make some changes here. And the first thing is creating folders. And the first folder that I always create is the one associated with my assets, the things that I am going, not the assets, but the things that I'm going to add to the project. And that's why I always start with the dash games. Inside dash games, we're going to add also other folders. One important is the maps. And the other I will add at this moment is game modes. One important thing to mention is that at this moment you cannot access your Visual Studio project or the files that are inside that Visual Studio project. One way to solve this issue sometimes is this. Close your project, close your Visual Studio as well, and inside the folder where you have your project, do the next. Select the next folders, VS, binaries while keeping the control down, intermediate, saved, and also the Visual Studio project. Now remove them. Right-click the Unreal project, Show More, and first generate Visual Studio project files. Then open the project of Unreal here directly, double-click, and when they ask you, would you like to rebuild them, referencing some folders that you need, say yes. Then give it some time. Here is your project, but we still can't see the folders of the Visual Studio. So what we're going to do is a simple trick. Go to Tools and select New C++ class. Let's create a simple class. Nothing that we are going to use later. Just name this class Test Actor and leave the path as it is. This is the path to our Visual Studio as well. Create class. Back to our project. Let's confirm that we are connected to the revision control, and at this moment we are not. So connect to the version control, Git, and accept. We are back. And now you can also compile your project here in Unreal by clicking this button. Perfect, no errors. And now you can see that we have this folder, which is the C++ classes, and inside that one we have the test actor that we created a second ago. But as you can see, the version control is not saying anything. But if we open our Visual Studio project, you can see that in Git you have these changes, which are the test actor, and also in the solution we open the source shooter Oasis and we have the test actor. I want to add these changes, so I'm going to click here on this plus because I want to add them all these changes. And now I will commit these changes, adding the test actor and commit staged. Moving to the Solution Explorer tab bar, you have the test actor here and here that we are also having open. One thing important to mention is that, for example, the test actor.h, the header, it appears like a test actor and is a child of the class a actor. This is because the a at the beginning represents that this is an actor. It is a notation that we use in Unreal. Unreal created automatically. By the way, don't mind these errors at this moment. And I want to do something else before continuing. First, let's create a new level, which will be a basic level, and I wanted to add it in this folder named Maps. File, Save Current Level, Games, Maps, and let's call this one Map 1. Now you can see the map 1 that we save, and you also can check that we have a plus. That means that this is something that was added and that will be part of the revision control. And when at the moment that we go back to our project and check the Git changes, you can see the map 1 that we are going to add. I know that these things about the revision control sounds a bit messy, but it is important that you have it when you are starting a new project. Because believe me guys, at some points you're going to screw some things up and you want to go back. When you open the world setting tabs on the Unreal, you can check that you have a game mode override that it is empty. We don't have any game modes at this moment. The game mode is the one that is in control of defining what are the HUDs, what are the players, what are the controllers that will be used at some point in the video game. I want to create a blueprint of this game mode. So select the folder of the game modes, right-click, look for blueprint class, and in the blueprint class, look for the game mode, which is this one, game mode base. Let's name this game mode Game Mode Base BP and enter. And now you can assign this game mode directly to the game override on the world settings, and it will apply only for this level, or you can assign it to all levels automatically. And the way of doing that is, let's select the game mode, go to Edit, Project Settings, Maps and Modes, and you see this variable that is called Default Game Mode. Well, here you have this one. I want to assign the one I just created a second ago. In fact, to not make things confusing, I will add at the beginning, Shooter Game Mode. And then I will say, OK. Perfect. Let's confirm that is the one that we set on the project settings. Perfect. And now in the Visual Studio, in the Git changes, we have the map and we have the Shooter Game Mode base BP. Let's add these changes and commit stage. I want to invite you to explore your Shooter Game Mode base BP. Open it. And check these parameters that are the base parameters of every game mode. Things like the player controller, oh my god, the player controller, the hot class, the default pawn, etc. We're going to work with this a lot as we progress in our game. Now, you can play also your game, and you can have control around this scenario. And if you want to see the player that you're using, you can use Shift F1, click this button that detaches, and you can check this circle is literally the current player, and you can see it from outside. And if you want to take control again, click here, and now you have control of the player. I know this part may not feel too inspiring, but now we have our project ready to start. And you also learned how to set up yours, no matter what you create. If you want to continue this path with me, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, add a comment, and share it with someone who's been waiting for the right moment to start. Your engagement keeps this project alive and evolving. And if you don't want to continue stuck in the desire of build your path as a game developer, visit woolon.com and learn more about the Game Creator Accelerator, my lifetime mentorship program where I help aspiring creators like you to build their path into the gaming industry with real strategies, real tools, and real support. And while you are there, take my webinar, How to Become a Game Changer Video Game Creator After Your Daily Job. Until next time, keep creating, keep sharing, and most importantly, keep dreaming big. I'll see you soon, my fellow creators.